Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds number 38. So this is where I like to collect together all the different music that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And I get it from different places like of course my local record stores, but also online retailers like Amazon, eBay, and more. And for this particular week I got a little bit of something from all those different places, and it breaks down into 11 new music finds. One new release, one Japanese import, one from eBay, 5 from my local record store, and 3 additional ones from Amazon. And we're going to jump into all that in just a bit here. But before we do, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this. New Music Finds, episode number 38. All right, and so kicking things off, we've got one brand new release that just came out on November 5th, this past Friday, and it's ABBA, Voyage. So this one here is 9th studio album from them, first album in 40 years. The last album was Visitors from 1981. One of the songs on here is of interesting note. It's called Just a Notion, and it's actually a song from 1979. And they kept the original vocals to it and then re-recorded new music for it. So kind of interesting. There's new stuff that's on this, but there's also some old stuff like that that's been reworked, and makes for a very interesting listen. Now I have to say though, I'm not overly impressed with the album. I don't want to knock it. I haven't really listened to it in as much in-depth nature as I would like to, and I'm certainly going to give it a few more spins. But I was hoping for the thing to be a little bit more upbeat, and it's a much more mellow affair. There's more ballads on it than sort of dance numbers that we know them for. For me, at least, that's something that was a little bit of a letdown. I know that other people out there certainly enjoy the ballads and things that they do, so I hear the album is doing well, and that's good news, but a little bit of a letdown for me, unfortunately. Like I said, though, I am going to give it a few more listens and then see what I think. All right, on to some other things here. So I got a Japanese import, ordered it directly from Japan. I like to order directly through Amazon Japan and have it sent 2-day air, get it really quick. Previous weeks I've been into Doobie Brothers and stuff like that with the new Doobie Brothers Liberté album that had just come out. I was diving back into solo stuff, so I picked up Tom Johnston, Everything You've Heard Is True from 1979, his debut solo album. And this is good stuff. It's got some guests on it. It has features some different Doobie Brothers guesting on the album with him. But it was one of those things I couldn't pick up here locally in the States from Amazon. But it was available through Amazon Japan, so I just imported it. And when you can get something 2 days shipped like that, it was actually cheaper to do that than it was to try to buy it through eBay or Marketplace or any of the other things like that. So sometimes I will do that, and definitely would recommend you guys check that out too if you're ever hunting for something. Sometimes it's better or easier to just go straight to the source. Now, you can see behind me there the vinyl for Tom Johnston's second solo album, Still Feels Good. And I've had it on vinyl for a long time. I've wanted it on CD, but the CD is always kind of very high priced, even when you're buying it as a used item. Still, I finally broke down and picked it up. Still Feels Good from 1981. It's the Wounded Bird reissue. I don't know if there's any other versions of the album out there, but when they put it out on the Wounded Bird, I did know about it. I just didn't pick it up, and I've always kicked myself for it ever since. This one here also features fellow doobies on it, like Pat Simmons on guitar. It's got Bobby LaKin playing congas and Cornelius Bumpus on saxophone. So a lot of cool guests on it. I have to say, of the 2 of these though, I actually enjoyed the debut one a little bit more, albeit this one here has got a little bit more dated late 70s sound than this one here. This one strips it away, so I think kind of dependent upon your mood, you've got 2 really great albums there that you could dig into from him. Now, on Saturday, I went out and did some record store shopping, hitting a bunch of different record stores, my local record stores and stuff. And so the first one I went to was Generation Records. Unfortunately, I didn't find much there. They've really been paring down the CDs. If you're a vinyl person, they've got a lot of great stuff. But the CDs, unfortunately, are just going by the wayside. Still, found this, Slayer Undead from 1984, their first live album. This one being the remastered edition, 2021 edition. And what I found interesting is that the live sound to it, not really sure how live this thing was. And then I did some research on it, and it turns out that over the years it's been questioned about the crowd noise and everything, how real it actually is. So don't know which is true about it, but the sound quality of the performance is really, really good. But the crowd noise doesn't always seem to align with what's going on musically within it. So we know that that's sometimes the case. I mean, Kiss certainly did stuff like that, and other bands, Guns N' Roses has done that. So it's out there, and it is what it is, kind of a thing. Now, one of the other things that I found at Generation, and one thing that they are always good for, I think no matter if CDs go away or what happens to vinyls, they are really great for shirts. And so I found this one. This is a brand new shirt for me. The Who. I didn't own any Who shirts. And this one here, it's super, super soft. Really good quality. It's got a vintage look, feel to the sort of thing like that. And it is official. It's got the Who information imprinted on it, so it's not just a tag or something of that nature. And I really like to stick to shirts and things that are officially licensed merchandise type things, and this one here certainly at least appears to be, let's put it that way. But anyways, yeah, super excited about that. You guys know I like my concert shirts, so yeah, this one is a brand new one here. All right, then I moved on to Village Revival Vinyl, another good place. And this one has tons and tons of CDs, albeit sometimes they can be a little overpriced and whatnot. But if you're hunting for some rare stuff, you can get some good stuff from there. So I found 4 things from them. And first one up being Styx Best Of from 1980. It's a compilation from their first 4 albums. And so those are from the Wood and Nickel release. So this here is an anthology that collects all 4 of those first studio albums. And I have to say, I've never been a big fan of this. I've listened to those, and you know, it's got some good tracks and some not so good tracks in my opinion. But this here, the 11 tracks that appear on this just really blew me away. And suddenly I have a whole new affinity for that early era. And that's actually what I like about some of these compilations, and why I will pick them up, is sometimes listening to them that way can make me see them in a whole different light. So I picked that up, and I was certainly glad that I did. It put me on a whole Styx kick for the rest of the weekend. And while I was there at Village Revival Records, I picked up another Styx album. So I actually had 2 Styx things to enjoy this weekend. But The Grand Illusion from 1977, 7th studio album. One I didn't have. It was actually one of those albums that I thought I had. And I kept seeing it, and I didn't pick it up, and I didn't pick it up. And then I realized I didn't own it. So I finally did, and what a great album it is. And what I kind of realized is, I think the reason I didn't have it is, Styx had done a live full album performance of that a few years back, and I own that. So I've listened to that a number of times. I think I was just associating the live recording of it with actually owning the studio one. But the studio one, you can't beat it, from 1977. Just really great stuff. Now, here's a rarity that I found that was really great. Adrian Belew, Inner Revolution, 1992 album on Atlantic Records, 6th studio album for him, or solo album for him. And of course, he is the King Crimson guitarist and vocalist, coming from my favorite period in the early 80s. So certainly excited to have found this. I've got another one of his albums, and this one here just really, really good. And certainly, you know, if you're a fan of Adrian Belew's or King Crimson, it's right in line with that. But it's one of those things that, because I can stream, so I was in the store when I found this, put on the headphones and was checking it out, and it was just so good. It wasn't just something I wanted to pick up and add to the collection. It was just actually a really great album, and I'm glad I was able to find it. So now another one that I found that I didn't even know there was standalone jewel case disc versions of this out there, and I can't find any information on it. Maybe it's a promo, not entirely sure. Alan Parsons Project, the Sicilian Defense from 2014. So this is an unreleased studio album from 1979. that obviously wasn't released at that time, but it was later compiled as part of the box set that you see behind me there and released. Now that is just in a cardboard sleeve. So I had not seen a jewel case edition of this and decided I wanted to pick that up and have it. And the way that this is written up with its liner notes and whatnot makes me think it might be a promo to promote that box, and they just happen to have a copy of it, kind of a thing. That, or maybe it's a European release or something else, but not available at least through Amazon or in the US or anything of that nature. So definitely glad I snagged that. And then, as I mentioned, because I was listening to so much Styx, I went ahead and ordered from Amazon a few additional Styx albums, fleshing out my catalog, now finishing it. And so the ones I didn't have was this, Equinox 1975, fifth studio album. I'd always really liked the song on here, Midnight Ride. And I have to say, one of the things that I found out or realized with the best of is that in the early years, James Young sang a lot more stuff than he did in later releases. And so I really, really have always enjoyed James Young, and definitely much more stuff like that on these earlier releases. The other one being Cornerstone, 1979, ninth studio album. And again, just good stuff that I didn't have in the collection, so I was adding to it. And then with the Restless Heart 25th Anniversary Edition from Whitesnake coming out a week earlier, I think it was October 29th, I then was just kind of in that Whitesnake mood and was digging around and looking at things. And what I realized is I didn't have a standalone edition of the 1980 self-titled album, so I picked this up. Now, of course, I have the box set that you see behind me, but I never really paid too close attention to it. When I buy these box sets, I usually buy them for their bonus discs and all of the bonus content and whatnot. Now I have a US North American release of this album, but on CD originally from back in the 80s. So what I didn't realize is that when they did the 2017 edition of this, they added 2 bonus tracks to the North American release of it. And of course, the whole thing being remastered, but it was also done in a different sequence than the North American. I think it's following the UK or European release, but still made it new for me. And it made it enjoyable to hear the songs in a different sequence, along with those 2 extra songs that at least I'm not accustomed to hearing. So of course, pick this up, but only paid $5.99 for it, and that was through Amazon, brand new. So that was kind of cool, a 2017 remaster for so cheap like that. And of course, the album features the amazing John Sykes, can never get enough of him, but just really good stuff. And those 2 extra tracks that weren't originally part of the North American release, You're Gonna Break My Heart Again and Looking for Love. So yeah, if you're not aware of that, do check that out. It is definitely something interesting and worth tracking down. But there you go. Those are my new music finds for episode number 38, 11 CDs total. Check the description for links to related videos. In particular, I'll put links in there for the Whitesnake self-titled or 1987 box set review, which I've done, and also the new Styx Crash of the Crown album review, since I was doing so much Styx stuff, and you can check some of that out if you're interested. Also, do check back every Wednesday for brand new episodes of New Music Finds. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.